Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the 31 Days of Tarot. And this is a series of prompts put out by Ethany. I will link her channel and her video talking about the prompts up in the cards and in the description box down below. It is a really fun way to get to know other creators in the tarot community, to discover new channels. I know that a lot of people tend to start their channels off by answering these prompts. It's such a great way to jump into the community. So I love to watch these. I love to discover new channels. I love to see what other people's answers are. And it's just a really fun way to find out more about what we liked, what we didn't like, all that kind of stuff. And today's prompt is the top 5 Oracle decks of 2019. And this was really hard. There were so many great Oracle decks this year that I almost didn't know how to choose. I don't think I have, no, I have a top 1, but I haven't ranked all the rest. So I'm gonna leave the top 1 for last, which is kind of what I did in yesterday's tarot, top 5 tarot of 2019, but I'm just gonna jump right into it. The first one that I wanna talk about is the newest one in my collection this year, and that is the Earthbound Oracle. This is by Andrew Swartz. This is what the backings look like. This is a poker or trump size deck, I believe. It's maybe a little bit, no, it feels like a poker or trump size deck. And these cards are so universally readable. They're very intuitive to use and they pair very well with tarot. This is just one of those that I knew I would like, and it had sat on my wish list for a very long time, but I didn't know how much I would really love them until I got them in hand and started working with them. I find this deck really easy to pull out and use to answer just about any question all by itself, as a clarifier or an add-on to tarot readings, or almost in a predictive Lenormand style as well. They're just very straightforward. The keywords are super expansive, and it's just a really easy deck to reach for just about any purpose. And I love decks that are multi-purpose in this way, that sort of flexible is maybe a word I'm thinking of. And there's only a few decks in my collection that I feel like are this flexible, and this is definitely one of them, which puts it right up into the top 5. I will try to remember to link up in the cards my walkthrough and first impressions of this deck, which I opened up alongside the Pathfinder Oracle by the same creator. So you'll want to watch the second bit of that video if you're looking for my thoughts on this one. But I have just thoroughly loved working with it ever since I got it, and I reach for it all the time. And Peggy made me this cute little mini bag for it, so it's perfect, and it hangs on my wall behind me when I'm not using it, and I love it. Next up, I almost forgot to include this particular deck, and I would have been a little bit sad if I hadn't included it. I think that I got distracted because I was like, am I supposed to have another one? Because I have other things beside me. But this one, I've put it in its own special little panda bag. It is not a panda deck. And it did actually come with its own kind of pouch, but I like to hang mine on the wall, so I gave it its own peggy bag. Let me just get on with it. This is the Animantra's Oracle, Chakra Oracle deck. This is by Katie Welsh. This is one of those decks that I don't see very many people talking about, and I don't know if it's because it's one of these decks that the truly young at heart seem to love, but look at how tiny it is. It's so cute, for starters. I freaking love this deck. Now, this is an animal-based chakra deck, which means that there are cards for each chakra. So there's actually 7 cards for each of the 7 chakras. So there's 49 cards. And I love the keywords. They're all sort of an affirmation. So you have like, be tenacious is the crab. And this is a root chakra card. In fact, I love these cards so much that I developed one of the most popular readings that I have up in my shop, which is the self-care chakra reading. And that reading looks at sort of your relationship with yourself, and it looks at your relationship with each part of yourself based on the 7 chakras. And it recommends and sort of looks at what you need to do to strengthen your personal self-development and self-work in each of those 7 centers of the body. I'm a big fan of chakra work. I really enjoy doing chakra work on myself. I really love integrating it into my readings for my clients. I find it to be a really empowering practice. And these little guys are just really wonderful. Now I edge them in coordinating colors so that I can easily identify the 7 different chakras, because what I like to do with these is lay them out in 7 piles, individually shuffle each pile, and I pull a card for each of the 7 chakras for my clients, and I just love doing that reading. I expand on that with additional oracle cards, but this is really the foundation of that reading, and it offers so much tidbits of guidance and wisdom, and it goes so much deeper than I think people think a playful deck like this can go. I just love it. It's so good. And I highly recommend it. I think you can still get it from Katie Welsh. Check it out. I will try to remember to link it down below so you can check out her website or her Etsy shop. But I just love these. And look at how adorable the backings are. They're so detailed. So cute. I love them so much. So I had to include those because I've used them a ton in 2019. Next up, I think this is the only mass market deck that I included, and there were a few mass market oracle decks that I absolutely fell in love with this year, but this one is one of my absolute favorites. I think I got this in 2019. If I cheated and this is actually from last year, then I'm sorry, but I think I remember getting it this year, and that is the Animal Kin Oracle by Sarah Wilder. This is what the box looks like. This is a Hay House deck, and this is one of those Hay House decks that Hay House got really right as far as the cardstock and the quality is concerned. Excuse me for a moment. Okay, I'm sorry, I know that's annoying, but I'm just gonna keep rolling. So this is what the backs look like. I still want to edge this deck at some point, but I haven't done it yet. It is my favorite animal deck as far as oracles go of all time. I love the artwork, and I love the keywords. They're just really expansive, useful keywords. Hopefully that's focused. And all the animals, like Ladybug and Unicorn, are 2 of my sort of must-haves in an animal deck. And those are not always easy to find in an animal deck, but they're both parts of the natural world that I work very closely with. I know you're gonna be like, Unicorn's natural world, but just go with me on it. It's a part of my practice, and so unicorns are really important to me and my work. So same thing with ladybugs. They really represent that sort of sweet inner child energy, and I work very closely with that energy in my practice. Beautiful cards. I love them. They're very unique. They don't feel like a oracle deck that was, how do I put this politely, that was pushed out too quickly or was overly commercialized. And I think that's because this was originally an independent oracle deck. I believe it was originally a Kickstarter, and Hay House picked it up, and this is so special, and I never really see many people talking about it, but it is so good. And if you like animal decks, I mean, this one is such a great one. It also has quite an extensive number of cards. I believe there's 65 cards in here, and the guidebook is fantastic. So I had to give this one a spot in my top 5, the Animal Kin Oracle. Love it so much. My next 2 oracles battled for top spot for a little while, and then one became the clear winner. The first one of those is the Connected and Free Alchemist Oracle. Man, this was a pricey oracle deck, at least at the time that I bought it, it was. It felt very expensive to me for an oracle deck, but it is so stunningly beautiful. This is what the backs look like. Now, there is also a tarot deck by these same creators. I think it's called Lumina. Watch me have that totally wrong, but I did not like the tarot deck. I had no attraction to it whatsoever, but I love the oracle deck. I love the art style. I love how expansive the keywords are. That's something I say a lot, but it's a really important factor to me. I want to be able to pull out the cards, lay a few out, and get a message without having to really work at it, because that's how oracle decks work best in my practice. And these ones do that really beautifully. I was about to cough. Let's see if I can keep it away. They just do such a great job. They go into so many areas of life. This is one of my favorite cards pretty much of any deck ever. It's so gorgeous. Now, and there's chakra cards in here too, which is always something that suckers me into decks, is if the chakras are in there, because there's so much I can read. When I pull up the sacral chakra card in answer to a question, there's so much for me to dive into there. It can be about confidence, it can be about momentum, will, how you exert yourself, how you exert your boundaries. Like, there's so many places I can go with a chakra card because I've done so much chakra work. So I love it when there's chakra cards in an oracle deck because it just gives me a lot to work with. Anyway, I love, love, love this deck. It is beautiful. I was going to talk about the cardstock. So it's very thick. This deck has pretty much always had a little bit of a bow this way. Now normally, if I'm going to get a bow in a deck, it's going to be this way where it kind of bows in from the side. And this one kind of bows in from the short side. And this cardstock is very thick. If your hands are not particularly strong, I have a cough, hold on. Excuse me. If your hands are not particularly strong, you are gonna find this one a bit of a challenge. Like, it's work for me to rifle it, and I kind of have to rifle all my decks. That's actually my one beef with this. I do think the deck's gonna last a very, very long time. It feels very sturdy, and it's smooth, and it's matte, but it is stiff for shuffling. Now, it hand over hands beautifully, so if it's too hard to rifle, it's not a big deal, but I love rifling. So yes, connected and free, definitely one of my favorites for having a lot of cards, for being really balanced, for giving me a lot to work with, but absolutely had to be in my top spot is the Roots and Wings Oracle. This is a deck by Kat Riles. It actually comes with this beautiful garden spread. I don't think I've done a full proper walkthrough of this deck, and I really should, because I use this all the time. This is such an intuitive deck. I've ended up giving some really spectacular readings for clients with this deck. When reading in person, or even having my first phone reading experience, which I will talk about later on in the month, I've ended up going to some really crazy places with this deck, places that I don't normally go in my readings. It sort of helps me to tap into something inside of me, some part of my intuition that other decks don't necessarily get to. There's one other deck that I have that gets to that same kind of place, which I will talk about later in the month, teaser, teaser. But this one, from just a straight up Oracle deck, this one is such a perfect all-arounder. And right now I will tell you, if I had to narrow my Oracle deck collection down to just one, this would be the winner. Even above decks that I've had for much, much longer, there's just something about this one that ticks all of my boxes. It's a beautiful deck cardstock-wise. It's thick, it's luxurious, it's rose petal. I love this deck, and if I am reading for clients, this goes with me without question. It is one of the things that always will go into my kit, unless something manages to top it, which hasn't happened yet. But it is so versatile and so beautiful and so easy for me to read, and I feel so bonded with it that this one is absolutely, no question, my number one. Before that, I would maybe say Connected and Free, again, at the earlier part of the year before I got Roots and Wings, because I got Roots and Wings the second half of this year. This one may have taken top spot for the year, but really that Roots and Wings is absolutely incredible. I would love to hear what your top 5 Oracle decks are. If you are participating in the challenge, let me know. I'd love to watch your videos if I can. And if you are not a content creator, I would really, really love you to comment down below and let me know what your top 5 of this past year have been. What has been speaking to your soul? What have you found super easy to read with or work with? What has been really integral to changing the way you work with maybe Oracle cards? I would love to hear all of that. Remember, you can book a reading with me at supportivetarot.com, and remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next prompt. Bye, guys!